Good morning. Welcome to AllPointsTV.com. My name is Sam Jahari, and this is Briona's Legacy. You know what? I haven't been on in a while, but I'll tell you what. It seems like in the neighborhoods that I live in, that you live in, or wherever you're at, I'm sure we're losing probably one person a week, if not more, in the areas, to addiction and overdoses. I've had quite a few actually in our county and stuff that I know of. And the whole thing is, I get a lot of people that are just, I don't want to say stupid, but they're just naive to what's happening. Okay, I was the same way. I just thought, addiction and it's about choice, and these people are doing it to themselves, but no one chooses to be an addict. Okay, and I can't believe we're heartless or there's no compassion. But the whole thing is, if you educate yourself, you realize that nobody chooses this route. You think, well, that first time it was a choice. Maybe that first time it was a choice. But I tell you what, it was a choice. How many people, smoke cigarettes? How many people gamble? How many people, do all these things that it just controls them and it becomes their master. And there's a lot of people that don't choose this route. And I'm talking about people that they go to a doctor for, even for depression or bipolar or any of that sort. Okay, and or pain of any sort. Okay, and they're given some kind of medication. Okay, and what happens is, from that medication you become addicted. I came across this video. It's Governor Christie speaking, and I think it makes a lot of sense, and I'd love to share it with you. John, if you could plug that in, I'd surely appreciate it. Need to get educated.
My mother was a smoker. She smoked her whole life. She was addicted to nicotine. She started when she was 16 years old, which was 1948. But by the time 1964 came, the Surgeon General's report came out, and she was in her mid-30s, she knew that smoking was bad for you. And I tell you, I watched her as a kid growing up. She tried everything she could to quit. She had the gum, the patches, hypnosis. She tried everything. She couldn't quit. Now, when she turned 71, a little after that, she was diagnosed with lung cancer. No one came to me and said, don't treat her because she got what she deserved. We know the lung cancer was caused by the smoking. We know it was. But no one came to me and said, hey, listen, your mother was dumb. She started smoking when she was 16. Then after we told her it was bad for her, she kept doing it. So we're not going to give her chemotherapy. We're not going to give her radiation. We're not going to give her any of that stuff. You know why? Because she's getting what she deserves. No one said that. No one said that about someone who had cancer. Yet somehow, if it's heroin or cocaine or alcohol, we say, well, they decided they're getting what they deserved. I'm pro-life. And I think that if you're pro-life, that means you got to be pro-life for the whole life, not just for the 9 months they're in the womb. Right? It's easy. It's easy to be pro-life. For the 9 months they're in the womb, they haven't done anything to disappoint us yet. Right? They're perfect in there. But when they get out, that's when it gets tough. The 16-year-old teenage girl on the floor of the county lockup, addicted to heroin, I'm pro-life for her too. Her life is just as much a precious gift from God as the one in the womb. And we need to start thinking that way as a party and as a people, and the president needs to say those things. Give you a second example. I'm a recovering lawyer. Uh, Thank you. So I went to law school. And for any of you who went to law school, if there's anybody here who's a lawyer too, you can admit it privately if you want later. But the people that you're closest to from law school are those people who are in your first year study group. First year when you're nervous as heck, you don't know. You don't know what is up and what's down. Are you going to make it or not make it? You have this small group of people that everybody puts together. There were 8 of us in my group. And we studied together. And you get to see everybody at their absolute worst. These are your best friends in law school. One of the guys that was in my study group, give me his profile. You know, he came, we went to law school at Seton Hall University in New Jersey. He came from an Ivy League school to Seton Hall. He was the smartest of all of us. He became an editor of the Law Review. He was the first one of us who got a job out of school. Got it at a big, prominent law firm in our state. He's making more money than any of the rest of us. He married an incredibly beautiful woman who's a doctor. They have 3 gorgeous daughters, one cuter and happier and more talented than the next. He was the first one among us to become a partner at his law firm. He bought a great house. He had a great car, and worse yet, he was really good looking and in perfect shape. The guy used to run 10, 12 miles a week, every week. So we loved him, but we hated him. Because the guy had everything, right? He was running one day in his normal routine. He hurt his back running. He was in his early 40s and was not giving in to age. And he was running his normal time, and he hurt his back. And so he went to the doctor because he was having trouble working. He was really hurt. And so he said, listen, we're going to give you some treatment, whatever. But in the meantime, just to help you get you through, we're going to give you Percocet. Help numb the pain. Well, about a year later, I get a call from his wife. And she said, he's addicted to these painkillers. And he won't listen. And I kicked him out of the house. And he's living at his parents' house, and you guys need to go and have an intervention with him. Those friends from law school, you need to go and get him to go to rehab. So we all went over there. We had an intervention with him, and it started a 10-year odyssey of him being in and out of rehab. During that period of time, she divorced him. He lost his right to see his girls. He lost his license to practice law. He lost his driver's license. He lost his home. He bought himself a condo, and she kicked him out. He lost that. He lost all the money, spent all the money that he had saved, and had spent through most of his retirement. When a year and a half ago on a Sunday morning, Mary Pat and I got the call that we've been dreading forever, that they found him dead in a motel room with an empty bottle of Percocet and an empty quart of vodka. 52 years old. By every measure that we define success in this country, this guy had it. Great-looking guy, well-educated, great career, plenty of money, beautiful, loving wife, beautiful children, great house. He had everything. He's a drug addict, and he couldn't get help, and he's dead. And when I sat there as the governor of New Jersey at his funeral and looked across the pew at his 3 daughters sobbing because their dad is gone, there but for the grace of God go I. It can happen to anyone. And so we need to start treating people in this country, not jailing them. We need to give them the tools they need to recover, because every life is precious. Every life is an individual gift from God. And we have to stop judging and start giving them the tools they need to get better.
And that's the truth of it, okay? Some people, you know, they look at somebody and that's how, oh, well, they did this to themselves. Again, nobody chooses this road. I want to tell you, Briona's story. Briona was born to an addicted mother, okay? Tina was not an addict at the time, but she was a recovering addict, which there is no cure for addiction. It's something that you can control, but there's no cure for it. And I don't understand, or I don't try to understand, but a lot of people in through their life, whether they're in pain or something triggers and they relapse. I had Briona. I had fought the mom. I found out she was going back to drugs at the age of Briona was about 18 months, something like that. And I tried every which way that I could think of, whether I stayed with the mom. I tried everything, so I could take care of Briona. But, through it all, I knew that I had to get my daughter, I had to protect her from her own mom. So, I went into court. Well, to be honest with you, before that, I knew I had to get married and stuff. And, that was I was looking for a mom for Briona. And through that all, I found that in my culture. And to be honest with you, not only did I find her a mom, but I found like my soulmate. I found my true love in life. And I married this girl within 12 days. And we're going to have, it'll be 19 years on the 16th of November. Will be our 16th wedding, our 19th wedding anniversary. But, that was the whole thing of, I knew I had to have a mom, so I can go into court. And I went into the court and I fought tooth and nail, not so much with Brianna's mom, but with the judicial system. The court system itself really stinks, plain and simple. It was not a good experience. Here's somebody that's an addict that has track marks all over her arms, and the judge, she couldn't see that. Her philosophy was that the kid belonged with the mom, and to be honest with you, it took a lot, for me to get custody. But once, Tina was given every opportunity to take care of, herself, to go to rehab and to do the right thing. But, I tell you about Tina. Tina was just a wonderful, wonderful mom. She loved her daughter more than anything. But, the drugs controlled her. Once she went back to the drug, it was non-control. It was out of her hands at that point. No matter how much she loved her mom or her daughter, there was nothing that she could do. It was out of her hands or out of her control. That's the power of addiction. That's the drugs. I think become your master. It's like the devil has control over you, and what's right from wrong, but it's not in your control at all. Anyways, I ended up getting custody of my daughter when she was 3 years old, and I had custody pretty much her whole life from there on. Now, I took Briona to prison to see her mom. I took her to rehabs to see her mom. Because for Briona that was important. She missed, her mother. No matter how much she loved her stepmom, and there was a jealousy, between the real mom is like, well, this isn't your mom, and stuff like that. The whole thing, it's like she was in and out of our lives, and the whole thing is, it was a jealousy on the other part. So do I blame her? I don't blame her. Okay. Do I want somebody else? my daughter calling her somebody else daddy. No, I didn't want that. But the whole thing is, I think overall, she knew Briona had a stable home. She knew that Briona was being taken care of. But the whole thing, Briona always lacked, or her mother being part of her life, on that birthday or whatever she had going on, I was Briona's coach for 5 years, in soccer. I don't think her mom ever made one game. She was in and out of prison, rehabs, walking the streets. That was the life that the addiction you live, okay? So anyways, I knew that Briona, she had this pain. And through it all, I had Briona into therapy for, I don't know, maybe 6-7 years, in and out of therapy all the time, because as a parent, a lot of times your children don't open up to you, tell you that, I'm in pain, or this is, I don't feel good about this, or whatever, and I think in the long run, her mother put it in her head that, your dad's new family, you're always going to be an outsider. That's just how I felt, from Briona at times. She would throw these things out there. But I tell you, Briona was my firstborn, and that was my life. I never knew what love was, till that day she was born. And I put my hand, on my finger in her hand, and she just squeezed it, And I says, this is your daddy, and I'm always going to be here. I'm going to be protecting you, And through it all, I feel like maybe I dropped the ball too, I don't know, to be honest with you, if I had a chance to do it all again, I don't think I would take Briona to the prison to see her mom. I don't think I would take her to rehabs. I think I would just, her mom had pretty much supervised visits. So, she would pop in and out of our life. I'd let her go with her, and she always did something stupid. This one time she snatched her off the bus. And then later I found out, that my daughter was molested at 9 years old from her dad, her mother's boyfriend. So, playing it back, did I protect her? Maybe I didn't, I tried. I tried to do the right thing, There was a lot I didn't know. And, when she was born and the nurse put her in my arms, she said, they don't come with a book. Just love them. And I loved her more than anything that I could think of, And that was one of the happiest days of my life. But through it all, Briona was going through different things throughout her life, And I remember in schools, her teacher would say, I think she's got ADD. I think she's got ADHD, Briona had a hard time sitting still. But for me, I took her to therapy. So I did reach out, to the community, the health community that supposedly, that's their profession. Because I didn't know any better, right? So as Briona got older, when she was, I believe she was 12, Briona's mom passed away from an overdose. And, Briona, I thought she stood tall. She was 12 years old, but she gave her mom's eulogy. And, she hated drugs. And at her mom's eulogy, she looked at all Brianna's or all Tina's friends, and she said to him, "This is what drugs do. It's a dead end road. There's no recovery from it. Don't do this." And she looked at them and she told them, she says, "Yeah, I'm sure you're going to use this as an excuse to just go and use tonight because a friend of yours died." So that's who Brianna was. Brianna she was a beautiful, beautiful girl. She had a smile that just lit up the room. She made you laugh. She played sports. She played soccer. She played basketball. She played volleyball. Brianna was on the debate team and was really good at it. And I said to Brianna, "Well, why did you want to do this debate?" She said, "I just wanted to learn how to argue with you, Dad." That was who my daughter was. Well, after she lost her mom, behind the smile, she was hurting, and at age 14, she met an older boy. At the time, he was 17, and he was almost 18. She was almost 15. And this boy, he obviously was an addict. And in her eyes, this boy, I couldn't save my mom, but maybe I can save this boy. I can show him that, you can get off of this stuff. So, she let him put the needle in her arm. But it was to the point of no return. Later I found out, I asked her, I said, "Brianna, you seen your mom die of this. Why would you do that?" And she said, Dad, I wanted to know what was so good in this damn drug that kept my mom away. Why did she love this drug more than me? It didn't make any sense to me, but to all those, the health professionals, yeah, it makes sense, You got to remember, this is a child. This is how they think, Our brain is developing to the age of 25, and she's just a kid. She's in pain, and she doesn't know any better. But I could tell you that she hated drugs. She hated needles, but this is what happened. So, Brianna was in and out of rehabs, and this loving kid changed to something. I don't think she knew who she was anymore. Her and her boyfriend, they ended up breaking into my mom and dad's home, stealing their jewelry, their computer, different things like that. Drugs will make you do the craziest shit. Again, the devil has a hold of you, and you're willing to do anything and everything for that drug. It becomes your master. It becomes everything. Anyways, today I wanted to share this poem that Brianna wrote at the last rehab she was at. And it's called Legacy. And it says, "She was more than a mom, my best friend. It was a couple years ago her life came to a tragic end. Her fate was in her hands. Her fate was in her own hands. Now she's forever in the Lord's lands. A part of me died inside that day. Every day I wonder, if I saw her again, what would I say? My mom's best friend was the Lord. On that battlefield, on the battlefield, he was her shield and sword. But she made a deal with the devil many years before, something I never thought I would have to endure. But I went against my own rule of thumb and made the same choices that were very dumb. I see the same hurt I once had in my dad's eyes as he watches his baby girl slowly die. I have caused so much hurt and pain that was all my fault. When I'm still only a child, far from being an adult. I pushed away the ones I loved more and more until they had no other choices than to let me walk out the door. Briona Anisi Jahari, being successful and sober is far more than the world to see, but for my mother and the legacy to live through me. That was her words. And I'm going to give you another story of another girl. Can we, Johnny, you there? Can you put up Marion's story, please?
My mom would be at all my sporting events. Let's say I was playing football, okay? My mother would be on the sidelines, and if the play on the field started going one way, my mother would run along like, Mike, get him, get him. I'd be like, oh my gosh. I'd get in the huddle with the other guys. They go, Mark, is that your mother? I go, no, I never saw her before in my life. The greatest gift my mother ever gave me, she believed in me. I have overdosed on drugs on 3 occasions where I should have been dead. But I believe I was kept here for a reason. You show me your friends, I will show you your future. How do I know this? I hung out with losers, and I became the biggest loser of them all because I gave up everything I dreamt about as a little boy because of who I chose to surround myself with. My friends would drive me home at 2, 3, 4 in the morning. We'd be drunk and high, laughing in the car. We'd pull up in front of my house in New York. They go, Mark, the light's on. I go, oh man, my mother's up. See, my mom wouldn't go to bed until she knew her son was still alive. I'd walk in, she'd say, hi Mark, how was your night? I go, it was good, Mom, I'm just gonna go to bed. She goes, can I talk to you for a minute? I go, Mom, I'm tired, I'm just gonna go to bed. She goes, Mark, I haven't seen you all day and all night. Can I please talk to you? I said, man, just leave me alone. You bug me. I'd slam my bedroom door on the one person who believed in me. I was on a worldwide tour and we were wrestling overseas in Japan. After my wrestling match, I went upstairs in my hotel room and I fell asleep. There was a knock at my door at 3 o'clock in the morning. I got out of bed, I looked through the safety window and I could see it was a Japanese promoter. So I opened the door and he said, Mark, you need to call home. There's been an emergency. I went and got on the hotel room on the phone. I called back to the United States and said, hey, what's going on? He said, Mark, I don't know how to tell you this. I said, just tell me what happened. I suddenly started crying. They go, Mark, I can't tell you. I said, just say it. They said, Mark, your mother died. I just threw the phone down. I ran out of my hotel room. I took the elevator to the lobby, and when the doors opened up, I just ran out into the street. I mean, there was no cars, there was no people. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. And I walked down the middle of a street in Hiroshima, Japan, and I remember looking up and just saying, Mom, I am so sorry. I flew home for her funeral, and I was so nervous to walk up to her casket, so I just stood way in the back. And I kept looking from a distance. I kept thinking to myself, Mom, please wait up. Please get up. And then I finally got the nerve to walk up to her. And as I got closer, I could see my mom for the first time. I mean, she was so beautiful. She was dressed in a way, I mean, looked like an angel. And I just stood over and I said, Mom, you are my hero. Everything I am, everything I hope to be was because of you. You loved me so much, you gave me a life. You're the only one that ever believed in me. How did I repay her? By getting drunk, by getting high, by getting stupid, by hanging out with losers? For what? All she ever wanted to do was talk to me. I wish I could talk to you now, Mom. I wish you could see what I'm doing. Why couldn't I have been a better son? We are defined by our choices. But if you surround yourself with people involved in drugs and alcohol and pills, it's a dead end. I'm not here to preach to you. I'm here to tell you I lived that life. It leads to broken hearts, broken relationships, broken dreams, and death. For what? To get high? If you have a mother or a father, when you go home, tell them how much you love them. See, my whole life was about being rich and famous. I had to be a millionaire. I had to win the race. I had to win the race at the expense of my marriage, my family, my friends. For what? To be all alone in the world? I learned what is truly important, and that is how precious this gift of life is, and our families, and how quickly it can be taken away. See, I no longer live in time. I live in moments. See, it's not what's in your pocket that matters. It's what's in your heart that truly matters. Love. Love is just a word until somebody comes along and gives it meaning. You're the meaning.
Thank you, John. That wasn't the one I wanted you to share with them, but that's good.
See, I didn't know. I thought that was just posted on your Facebook. I asked him what you want. He said on your Facebook page, and that's what I thought.
No,
those are the two there.
Yeah. No. Okay. Well, thank you. Well, that's another story. Or all right. 70% of addicts. Okay. It's a gene that we inherit. Okay. So we're born with this disease. It just, when it manifests, is, by that doctor giving you the pain pill or drugs of any sort. Okay. Another way it manifests is going to a party and you're having your first drink or smoking that joint or whatever. Okay. So 70% of us, we inherit this gene. Okay. The other 30% of addicts is, the people we hang out with. Getting us to try different things. Because that's what it is. You hang with the wrong people. Oh, come on, man, try this. Oh, you're a loser. Come on, try it. It's no biggie. So we end up doing this. Or, being young enough that you want to try something different, or everybody else is doing it. So that's the other ways to get addicted. Okay, 70% is this addiction gene that we're born with. Okay, and the other 30% is who we hang with and what we decide to do with ourself. Okay, so that's another light of the addiction. Thank you, John. What I want you to put up the Marin story, the girl from Ohio.
Okay, so right. Okay,
I'm going to share this back with you guys. All right. Thank you.
She had a smile that would light up her room. She had a passion for basketball. Then she picked up golf, and she was a natural with that. She really enjoyed the game.
The one thing that caught us truly off guard going towards the end is we didn't realize how badly she felt about herself. Look at the pictures. Why would we think she had a self-esteem problem? But the fact of the matter is that was one of the major engines that drove her to areas where she really didn't need to go, didn't have to go.
My spoons started to disappear. And I'm not talking, one or two. It'd be like, okay, I have like 3 spoons left.
And I remember I had $150 some in my wallet. When I went to pay that, I had $75. And of course she started crying. And yes, I came down. Yes, I took your credit card. Yes, I used it.
I remember going to court the next day and beautiful Marin, and then bringing her in, shackles on her ankles in these prison uniform. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, how did we get here? I was just numb.
She needed the money to pay some people back, and she needed the money to trade the gas for the heroin.
If you would have asked us, what do you know about heroin? I would have said a street drug, a junkie's drug. Not something that you hear about on TV. It's not something that you would find in a community like Pickerington or any suburb. I mean, every day was that we have to keep her alive. We have to save her. If she said she was going to a meeting, I would follow ahead of time and sit in the parking lot and see her walk in, because I could breathe again, because she showed up. We got one more day. She's sober one more day. She never even had a car, but she still found a way to get it because they would just bring it to the house when we were sleeping.
I remember walking into the apartment, and I've never heard such a horrendous scream in all my life. When I went up and walked through that bathroom door and saw him there holding my daughter, I knew immediately she'd passed away.
I know she really wanted to make it. And I know she doesn't want to see any other family go through what we have gone through. And I know she wants me to talk about it. And I found her journal that I bought for her. In her journal, she wrote a goodbye letter to heroin. Dear heroin, before I met you, I was full of life. At least from what I thought. But then problems started coming my way that gave me the excuse to meet you. It was like love at first sight. Not only did you do things for me, but boy did I do things for you. I lied to my family, friends, and even more importantly, I lied to myself. I would steal and cheat for you. I would risk my freedom and my life for you. But our relationship went to hell when the first and last time you really almost took me away forever. You had me for 7 minutes. I won this battle, and I will never have to suffer again. Sincerely, your worst enemy, Marin Riggs. She still went back to it. That was still because of the grip it had on her.
Do I miss her every day? Oh, sure.
We can't bring her back, and we can't go back. But if we can help other people by telling our story, then that's what we have to do.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. With endless days to sing God's grace than when we'd first begun.
That's another story. All right, and there's many, many, many stories. And it's not these losers on the side of the road that you would think of that have no family or just in the ghetto. All right, this is happening to great, great people everywhere. Okay, that come from good homes, that are well educated, that are great looking, that are great professionals. All right, this is going on every place, in every corner, all over the United States. I tell you, we are 5% of the population. 5% of the population. But we consume 95% of these opiates, these pain pills, the Oxycontin, the Vicodins, the Percocets. Okay? 95%. How come the 95% of the world are only absorbing 5%? It's because our doctors here, we're giving it out like candy, you know, till just recently, okay, till just recently in the 80s, you know, the drug company says, hey, we're losing out on all this money, you know, we need to go after pain. So, you know, you go to a doctor, and what does the doctor have? Before anything, you know, where's your pain level today? From 1 to 10. He's got these pictures on the wall, you know, with the smiley faces and the frown. Where's your pain level? That's not what I came in for. I came in for a cold or pneumonia or whatever the hell is going on. You know, they want to know what my pain level is. All right. So, you know, instead of losing all this money, all they give a damn about is, you know, the money end of it, because they surely don't care about you. And the whole thing is, we don't heal anybody anymore. You know, all we're given is, you know, I don't care if it's cholesterol or diabetes or whatever's going on with us, you know, we're given some kind of medication, and all it does is cover up the symptoms. And likely, more than likely, okay, is it covers these symptoms, but you're going to end up with something else, okay? A few months ago, I told you of this shirt, you know, in this article that I came across, where this guy started with some medication for cholesterol. And from the cholesterol, he ended up with anxiety. From anxiety, he ended up with diabetes. From the diabetes, he ended up with something else. From the different medications. So it started out with 1 pill, and it became 7 pills. Okay? Or 5 pills. So this is the world we live in today. It's all about the money and not so much about taking care of your health. All right? We have to educate ourselves. Okay? We have to educate ourselves. Most medications, they came from an herb or a plant or something of that sort. And the whole thing is, there was no money in the plant or the herb. So they started making it synthetic. And from the synthetic, that's where we get the side effects. And we have to have something else. You know, here's another thing. We manufacture these drugs here, okay? And we pay up the kazoo for it. But you can go over to Canada, or you can go over to Mexico and get it pennies on the dollar. Why? If we're manufacturing this, why can they get it a lot cheaper over there? That doesn't make any sense, does it? Okay? Well, you know, after Briona died, I started talking about, the loss of my daughter, talking about heroin. And as I started speaking, everybody was coming out of the woodwork. You know, this is happening in my home. This is happening in my neighbors. This is happening in my community. That I learned, there's an epidemic going on. And here's the epidemic. 328 people die every day from overdoses. 328 people every day. One every 13 minutes. Okay? Every day. And we got this war on drugs, and, we keep building more and more prisons. But we're not taking care of the problem. And the whole thing is, all what's going on in our world, what's going on in our communities is all these gun killings and shootings and all these things are from the mental health aspect. Okay? They're on drugs. Okay? Because a lot of times, the mental health, okay, people, they have not a deficiency, they just feel inapt. Something is not right within them. Whether it's bipolar or depression or something. Okay? And what happens is, when they get drugs, they feel like they're complete. Or to that effect. That's why they get addicted. Okay? But the whole thing is, it starts that way, then it becomes out of control. And the whole thing is, when I started the presentations, and I started going to these opiate conferences and stuff like that, I started educating myself into really what's going on. Because when I go in front of these students, I wanted to give them some kind of education. I wanted to give them something, that they could put in their mind. Hey, if this happens to me, let me get some help. I've been in front of over 50,000 kids, and the presentation continues. It's not chasing the dragon anymore, but it's slaying the dragon. Okay, chasing as you're chasing that high. Slaying, we're going to get rid of the high. We're going to get rid of the addiction, hopefully. And with your help, we can break the stigma that goes with it, okay? And have some compassion, because it is a disease, and it's non-curable. But they can maintain it. They can maintain it. How many people you come across every day, that were alcoholics, that have been clean for 20-some years, 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, whatever, okay? Because addiction, it's not curable, but you can live with it. You can live with it by saying no. And a lot of times, to fight the devil, you have to have God in your life. I don't preach. I just, from what I see, from everybody I talk to, that's the only way they can heal. That's the only way they can get up every day. You have to have a certain power that's stronger than the devil. And there's none better than God. Anyways, what I'm here to do is to educate you. And I'm here to invite you, because on the 16th, Monday at 10 o'clock, we're going to be at Flushing High School. And on the 23rd, we're going to be at Flushing High School, also at 10 a.m. Anybody and everybody's invited. You want to see what we do? Come see us live, okay? Because I look at it this way. The stronger or the louder the voice, the more we're going to get heard, okay? And the only way we can break the stigma is by communicating, by opening our mouths, and passing the word, okay? I do this because I know Briona hated drugs. And anybody that's gone down that road, they tell you the same thing. They didn't want to be there. It was just out of their hands. People with heroin, only 5% ever get clean. And it's actually 3 to 5%. But maybe if we can break the stigma, okay? Have a little compassion as a people, we can change that. We can change that. My name is Sam Jahari, and I really appreciate you listening. This is Briona's legacy, and together we can make a difference. Thanks again for listening. See you next time.